under 10.5 on the line.
You have to be the biggest, dumbest idiot.
Josh Allen inside the 10, inside the 5, touchdown, game over.
Going into the draft, I was a big Penix guy. I'm still a big Penix guy.
Rashee Rice is way ahead of schedule in his ACL rehab, which is good news for his fantasy managers because the Dallas court system is way behind schedule. That's also good news for local comedian Miles Francis. Oh, hello and welcome to What Are We Talking About with Jamie Jakes. I am him. I am sitting here with NFL insider James, and we are here to make you guys some money. If this is your first time joining us, James and I go head-to-head every single week. James presents us with a slate of games, and I have a force bet in that game. I must find a winner for you, and through those analytics, those metrics, me looking at the actual games, watching the actual games, I am up 3-0 again, and I am the reigning, defending holder of the hammer of truth and justice for that reason. James is our current reigning, defending postseason champion, and I am currently our reigning, defending off-season champion. So that's draft, and then that's future bets. And it's looking pretty good for me. James probably going back to the well again on the Dolphins. We'll see how that goes. This offseason is looking pretty good for me so far. James, how are you doing? You ready to find some winners, buddy?
Absolutely. I enjoyed how you sounded like the Cookie Monster there for a second. Me look at stats. Me look at stats. Me want stats. Me want winners.
That's all I'm here for. I'm not going to sound smart when I do it, but hey, when you're just giving out winners, it's a fun time to be alive. Recap for last week. Like you guys know, our loyal podcast followers, we're big integrity guys on this program. We're not gonna go past weeks and just be like, oh, welcome to this week when we got a whole bunch of winners and try and sell you guys. We're actually going to be accountable, just like Motor City Dan Campbell is accountable for his players, and that's how we grow, and that's how we learn as sports gamblers. It's not all just about winners here. So for that reason, I'm going to go ahead and ring the gong of recapping last week.
Didn't know we were drinking during the gong.
It's a long gong, and it, for whatever reason, the StreamYard that we use, it mutes me when the gong is going. So you got to wait all the way to the very, very end for that gong to finally finish ringing. I beat James in the matchup. Not my best week. I'm still profitable on the season. However, we did have Bengals and Vikings. I picked it. James didn't. Had a little bit of a miscommunication issue. James coming back from a sandals vacation, me having a baby on the way. We did not communicate very well. That's on us. Hand up. Bad news on that game is I lost that game. The Vikings, this is a total miscalculation for me with the NFC North in general and how bad J.J. McCarthy has been. Statistically, I knew that, and then just theoretically, I knew that because all offseason, I'm like, hey, best case scenario, J.J. McCarthy gets off to a slow start and they figure things out later on in the season. He is basically a rookie who hasn't played football in over a year, coming off of a very serious knee injury that ended his season last year. So, of course, he's going to be bad. And, of course, Carson Wentz in this Vikings offense is going to be better. That is a total miscalculation out of me. And for that reason, I apologize. James did not have a pick on that game. Do you have any thoughts on that game, Bengals-Vikings, James?
I had listed on there maybe if there's a trade, and there was no trade that proceeded to occur. So I thought for sure the Bengals were going to pick somebody up, and that would have been
to play quarterback for him.
Yeah, I thought for sure Browning no shot based off of last season. There's plenty of good quarterbacks that you could trade for that are backups right now. I mean, Giants literally have 3 of them, and still nobody picked up the phone, which is just tells you that the Cincinnati Bengals want to tank the rest of the season already.
Yeah, I don't blame them. They're horrible. They need some cheap draft picks to play defense for them and offensive line. So
maybe they just need to give their rookie signings actual contracts, and maybe things will start working out a little better for them.
pay them on time. Maybe that'd be a good idea. Just like a good, and that's probably just a conversation I was going to have later in the podcast, but I was going through like it would be, people think I'm joking. People think I'm just being a silly goose when I'm like, I could be an average NFL GM today with zero preparation, zero, studying or anything. Just from what I have done today for this podcast, I could be better than half the NFL GMs that are currently making, $3 million a year right now. And it came from, we're going to talk about him in a little bit, Scadaboo for the Giants, got drafted in the 4th round. Harold Fannin, looking like the best tight end in this draft class. If he was on the Colts, he would be playing better than Tyler Warren, I would say. Colson Loveland freaking stinks. He's horrible, right? So anyways, I could be a average NFL GM if you just gave me the reins of any organization. It wouldn't be that hard at all, because I'm not letting Harold Fannin out of the 2nd round. I'm definitely not letting Scadaboo out of the 3rd round if I'm an NFL GM, and having 2 of those guys as your rookie running back and tight end for 4 years for cheap. How many Super Bowls do you win? Probably 2 or 3, right, James?
I think I'll put a very massive caveat on that statement that it would very much depend on who your NFL owner was and how much of a diva they were or weren't, because that is definitely a big factor when it comes to GMs. Just ask plenty of franchises who have an owner step in and say, hey, I need to make this pick, not you. So,
well, I'm going to have a spine. I'm going to have a spine because maybe I get fired from the first job I get.
Draft. Yeah, that's
I don't care. I'll get fired. I'll be like, hey, they wanted me to draft somebody else. I said, no way, Jose.
You just have a live cam of the draft room, them handing you a box, and you're having to hastily put your stuff in the box and walk out.
Yeah, I'm not a spineless hack like Andrew Berry taking a 2nd quarterback in the 5th round and then looking like all grumpy pants about it. Just don't pick him. Just don't pick him. Or just say the owner. Just say the owner told me to do it. All right? Grow a pair. And that's why I would be an above average GM in the NFL, because I would, have integrity. Anyways, moving on through our recap of week 3, Texans, Jags. I had the Jags. You had the Texans money line. The Jags win very nicely. It was our stream of the week, so it was a pleasure watching and enjoying that. Jags defense, and we got to talk about it, continues to be elite. The 2nd best defense in EPA per play through 3 weeks of the season. They were 2nd place through 2 weeks of the season. So we got to start talking about, despite all of the loud, noisy shortcomings of these Jags so far this season, with the offense, with Brian Thomas Jr. sucking, with Travis Hunter looking like the worst pick in the draft right now, their defense has been really good, and their run game on offense has actually been pretty darn solid. So not had the best strength of schedule so far the Jags have, but we can't ignore that they've been an elite defense through 3 weeks, and I would guess that they finish top 10 in that metric, which is the only defensive metric that matters. We know that, James, outside of run, EPA per run on defense, of course, which might be more important. Texans, Jags, what do you got in this one, James?
I mean, once Travis Hunter gets in this mix, watch out. The Jags defense is going to be amazing.
He played like quietly, like 40 snaps. He got dragged by Nico Collins for like 15 yards when he was trying to tackle. And I was like, oh man, who could have possibly seen Travis Hunter struggling with tackling adult men except anybody who watched him play in college? How could you possibly have known that? All right. No. Enough Travis Hunter. I mean, we had JVT on the couch. Your friend JVT, you knew him before I did, right? JVT out of Princeton, safety out of Princeton. He was watching the game. He's a Jacksonville Jaguars fan on the casting couch with us, and he wore his Travis Hunter t-shirt that his mom got him, and he's like, I had no idea you had so much hate and vitriol for Travis Hunter. I'm like, it's really not him. It's just all the analysts who just stupidly spoken to microphones into cameras all offseason saying that he was way better than Tetaroa, McMillan, and every other wide receiver in this draft class is a pure wide receiver. That's not true. And saying that he was the best corner, once-in-a-lifetime talent. That's not true. Guy doesn't even know where to line up. So how can you be a once-in-a-lifetime talent if you don't even know where to line up, what route to run?
Darrelle Revis, he is not.
He's not Darrelle Revis. He's not even Terrion Arnold. All right. This guy's not great at all in the NFL. Massive bust. But despite all that talk, Jacks are kind of good. So you can't ignore that. And that was my first Duval. That was my first bet of the season where I went in and I'm like, I have to bet the Texans, and I dig into the stats and the metrics to try and prove myself right. And I'm like, I simply can't bet on the Texans right now. So whenever that happens, take note. That is probably your best bet of the week. Don't follow our best bets of the week, by the way. 0-3 on the season. Not looking good at all.
18 weeks, 19 weeks.
Thank goodness. We need it. All right, moving on to the next game that we are here to cover for our recap, the Falcons and the Panthers. I had the under, which was never a doubt. Now, did I think it would be how it went? No. My whole take on that was I think the Panthers are really going to struggle scoring, which they did. There was a pick 6 on this game that really elevated the Panthers team total on this one, which, by the way, if there's a pick 6 in the game, you can throw your money in the toilet if you had the under most of the time. Falcons really, really struggled on offense. They get shut out by the Panthers, and the Panthers did spend a ton of money on defense in free agency. And maybe my take was like, this Falcons offense isn't a good enough to cover the over by themselves. The Panthers are going to struggle scoring, and maybe these Panthers with a bunch of new pieces on defense start to gel together. And I think that's what we saw here in week 3 after disappointing defensive battles in week 1 and week 2. Falcons, Panthers, James. You had the Panthers plus 200.
Big fan. It seems like whenever the money line goes over 200, all of a sudden I see things much clearer. It's like speeding on the highway. You just see everything a lot clearer going fast.
You do.
Just ask Rashid Rice.
You are, Rashid Rice down the street from where I'm sitting right now. Not too long ago.
Should have gone to the University of Georgia.
He would have fit right in. All right. Moving on to Cowboys and Bears. Again, this is a miscalculation of how good the NFC North is and how bad these Cowboys are. They're horrible. They can't stop the pass on defense. The Bears were able to do kind of whatever they wanted in this game. And, I mean, all signs are pointing to the Lions being actually very good this season despite week 1. And all signs are pointing to the NFC North being actually pretty darn solid and the Cowboys being horrible. James, what do you got on this one?
Man, this was a stinker. I was so excited to watch this game. And this was a waste of a 2:30 slot.
Yeah. Just I had a quad box. I exited that game out of the quad box.
Yeah. And
that's only 4 games.
Somebody who's still on the TV map, I hated every minute of it because when Cowboys are on at 2:30, that means Fox is also off. So that's
time to get Sunday ticket, James. Moving on to, and this is, I mean, in a week where there was a ton of bad beats, we didn't really have any picks on the games that had like the true bad beats. But this was a tough one, James. The Chiefs and the Giants. Now, I had Giants plus 6.5, and I get it. I can't complain about a bad beat when I'm betting on Brian Daboll and Russell Wilson. Like, I get it. Hand up, a little bit of accountability there. I bet on Brian Daboll. But when I bet on Brian Daboll to cover 6.5, I'm not really counting on him being an average head coach in the NFL. And that's not what we got at all. Cam Skattebo, he was forced to play Cam Skattebo. They get the first down on an actually good Russell Wilson pass just to cover 6.5. They need a touchdown, extra point. That's all I need. That's all I need. After the terrible Russell Wilson interceptions all game, after the horrendous play out of Russell Wilson and the Giants, all I needed was a touchdown, handed off to Cam Skattebo 2 or 3 times. You know he's going to punch it in against these Chiefs on the goal line. Cam's not on the field. Russell Wilson, starting at the 5-yard line, proceeds to throw 4 back-to-back passes that were uncatchable, including a 4th down one with the game on the line, essentially. Uncatchable through the back of the end zone. Inexplicable. Thank goodness he gets benched by Brian Daboll after that performance. How much worse could it get? They have a little bit of a lull in the schedule the next couple of games before they have to play the Eagles twice, I believe. Talking about the Giants here. Good news is, it is Cam Skattebo's season. Would have loved to see him win the job without an injury by Tyron Tracy. Would have loved to see him win it naturally. And obviously you hate to see anybody, especially on a rookie contract, get a pretty serious shoulder injury. It looked pretty bad. Like right away, he kind of just tapped his shoulder. Like I'm out for this game.
I thought he broke his arm the way he was holding it.
I was in on definitely dislocation. Looked like one like right away. But yeah, either way, dislocated shoulder for Tyron Tracy. Cam Scadaboo is the clear better back in the backfield. And you know, Brian Daboll's so dumb, maybe they just keep Tyron Tracy as the starting back. But with over the next 3 games, when Cam Scadaboo just starts looking like the second coming of CMC, except with a bigger head and a guy who only uses his head for violence, I like Cam Scadaboo, and I like Cam Scadaboo a lot. It was nice hearing friend of the show, Chris Collinsworth, see the Cam Scadaboo head shake for the first time and be like, oh, what the hell is that? He looks like he's trying to shake his head off after that hit. I'm like, okay, well, he's been doing that since high school, and any commentator or anybody who's been paying attention to anything over the past 3 seasons would know that. But okay, Chris Collinsworth, glad I'm listening to you call this game over the Manning cast, which is Manning cast is Monday, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so no, it wasn't Manning cast. It was just there's no other option for Sunday night. But anyways,
I'm sure there
Manning,
will be.
Well, you know, follow us. Sometimes we'll do Sunday night games. But anyways, Chiefs Giants, James, what a tough game to watch and what a tough game to bet on. It's tough betting on Brian Daboll.
I had a fantastic bad beat Sunday. I will say that I took both the Buccaneers and the Eagles live. So that was actually a really fun day
Nice.
on bad bets or bad beats. But Brian Daboll now has his quarterback, and the offensive genius that is Brian Daboll can finally be unleashed with both Jackson Dart and Cam Scadaboo. So friend of the program, my good buddy, Brian Daboll. I'm excited to see what you do, buddy. Now that you finally have the exact team that you want to have, your owner is no longer stepping in and forcing you to play Russell Wilson. You finally convinced some of that leadership in New York. My God, an interesting leadership in New York, what you need to do. So I'm very excited to see what Brian Daboll does. At the end of the game, for me, that fumble that the Giants defense did not just fall on and decided we're going to take this into the end zone had to be the most frustrating part of that game and had to be the point where they lost that game. I cannot believe that Russell Wilson got an intentional grounding penalty, throwing it through the end zone. Never seen that happen before.
First and 5 from the goal line, 3 minutes left.
Never
Down
seen
2 touchdowns. Get Cam Scadaboo out of here. Get him out of here. We can't have Cam on the field.
He couldn't have just thrown that like into the goalpost. He threw it to the tunnel. Like, what are you doing? I don't understand. That might have been the worst penalty I've ever seen for intentional.
It was bad.
There's some bad ones. Yeah, if you hate Chris Collinsworth, just don't Google Chris Collinsworth and 16-year-old girls, and you won't find anything interesting on the internet. So
don't Google it.
Don't Google it. It's on YouTube. It's
great. Google it.
It's a great interview. On Chris Collinsworth on what kind of lady he likes to find in nightclubs.
All right, just some Chris Collinsworth talk. We love bringing that up every 3 episodes or so until he gets fired. Anyways, Lions Ravens.
Not my fault.
Was our last game. Your worst bet of the season, James, had Ravens alternate spread at -12.5. Didn't feel good from the start when the Lions march on down, score a touchdown. 2 90-plus yard drives. One of them, I think 12 plays, which is like the longest scoring drive in the last like decade in the NFL. Lions true coming out party, which Lions look a lot better after the Bears blow out the Cowboys in week 3 after the Lions beat them in week 2. Obviously, a little bit of a fluke there in week 1 with the Packers. The Lions offensive line, it took Tate Ratledge literally 5 quarters to figure out how to be an all-pro guard. So that's pretty good. Mahogany looks great on the left side. He's better than Glasgow, who's now playing center. And Glasgow seems like he's got the boys humming and communication issues solved, playing on the road at Baltimore, and just an absolute dominating performance out of that Lions offensive line. Not what we saw in week 1 when guys were getting unblocked on 1st and 10 from the Lions' own 2-yard line. So seems like a lot of things have been fixed in a short period of time. Who could have seen that coming with the best head coach in the NFL, Dan Campbell, fixing things. Lions D-line, and you're not going to hear a lot of talk about it because he's an interior defensive lineman, but Tyleek Williams run stuffer. Now all of a sudden Lions are the best run stop team in the NFL through 3 weeks in EPA per play. So that's pretty good. They got to figure out how to stop the pass still over there in Detroit, but they're on the case. Coach Shep's on the case. So love it as a Lions fan. Ravens, I think they'll be fine. Obviously, that division, Browns do beat the Packers. I don't think the Browns are that good when, good teams will be trying to beat them instead of what the Packers did this week. And yeah, Steelers will have 9.5 wins this season. That'll be nice. But Ravens are going to turn it around here in a game that we're going to cover here in a second. The Chiefs and the Ravens coming up here later on in this podcast. What were your thoughts on this one? Do you want to apologize for your horrible pick?
No, I don't. There was a definite chance that the Ravens could have covered this in the third quarter and decided to blow it away after they had a 7-point lead. They could have easily run this out. Derrick Henry fumble was brutal. I don't have a problem with my bet. I thought this game was either going to be a close Lions win or Ravens blowout, and Ravens blowout just didn't happen. So, those things happen, but when you're right, you're right. And when you're wrong, you're wrong. That's how life goes.
Lions win by 8, so you're off by 20.5 points, James. Just saying. Okay, moving on. All aboard the money train for our week 4 slate.
Oh, not a double blow? Come on. Nice. Horrible engineer at the train. You always give a quick toot. Come on.
I don't think I can. All right. Anyways, moving on to week 4. I'm hot. James is slightly less hot, but he's still hot. All right. Attractive wise. Anyways, moving on to the Carolina Panthers at the New England Patriots. Opened at 3.5, bet up to 5.5. The Patriots are favored 43 or 43.5 points for the over-under. We got perfect weather in this game. James, what do you got on the Panthers, Patriots?
Both these teams are in the bottom half of the league, bottom third of the league in defense. Atlanta, who the Panthers just absolutely blew out at home in their own field, walked into their trap, took over their trap, ranks higher in every single statistical category over the Patriots. I don't see why the Panthers can't do it again. So I've taken the Panthers at plus 195.
Panthers at plus 195 out of James. And I think that's not too terrible of a pick. Panthers have had kind of like a sneaky good schedule to start the season. But even with that, their point differential is plus 9. The Patriots' point differential on the season, -8. Penalties. How good are the coaches coaching these guys? Panthers 9th fewest penalties on the season. Patriots 27th ranked in penalties. So 9th is good. 27th is bad for that ranking. So new head coach over there in New England. I think he'll figure it out eventually. Still seems like he might be setting the tone for the boys. Maybe got to cut some people going into next year, cut some dead weight off of that roster, including maybe a diva wide receiver who's totally washed now, unfortunately. New England, slight edge on offense, but the Panthers, massive edge on defense coming out of the shutout with the Falcons. I think their defense will continue to trend upward as their new pieces start to gel together. They spent an average of, off the top of my head, I believe $45 million a year, average contracts per year in free agency, just on the defense, not even including the offense. So I love it. It's a slight agreement, a shift agreement here. I like the Panthers, but I like them at plus 5.5. Moving on to our next game. This is our game of the week. We'll live stream this one. We've got the Baltimore Ravens playing the Kansas City Chiefs. One team will end this game 1-3, and their season will be over. This game opened Chiefs favored by 1.5 points. It got bet to 2.5 or 3-point underdogs. for the Kansas City Chiefs. Over-under set to 48.5. Perfect weather game. What do you got on this one, James?
Well, I was coming into this one 100% going to bet the Ravens. However, I moved that line for you, everybody, and I'm so sorry about that. But I've moved it so far enough that it is now worth buying the Chiefs at plus 125. I think these guys are going to somehow start figuring it out. Now that Taylor Swift is secretly entering Arrowhead, I think there's much less drama around the team. And quite frankly, who doesn't love it when your head coach and tight end are yelling at each other on the field? Just means they care. And because of that, I like the underdogs here. Give me Chiefs plus 125.
They do care, and I wanted to bet the Ravens as well. But like you said, you moved this number way too far, James. So shame on you.
I'm so sorry.
That.
I'm so
the
sorry.
Sports books know you're sharp. When you lay that money on the line, they're going to move it through 0 to a key number of 3. You know that's what's going to happen.
Dropping
when
20
we start betting.
Ravens is a tough thing, but I'll do it for everyone.
So yeah, because of that spread movement, I also wanted to bet the Ravens against the Chiefs because the Chiefs kind of stink, but I couldn't after that. But I did find something pretty tasty. The over-under, 48.5 points.
Ooh.
What's that all about? Ravens, average points per game, 37. Chiefs, average points per game, 20. Quick maths. That's a 57-point total, James. And with an average offense on one side of this Ravens matchup, the over-under has to be set at 55, 56.5 points for every single Ravens game until further notice. PA per play on defense for these teams, Chiefs rank 11th, Ravens rank 17th. So it's not like either of these teams are going to be able to stop each other. So over 48.5 seems easy peasy, lemon squeeze. Probably one of these teams are going to cover it by themselves. So give me that over 48.5 points. And I got to say, I love it. Lamar Jackson played great against the Lions. It was a shootout. Lamar Jackson played awesome. And I don't think these Chiefs are going to be able to play as good a defense as the Lions did. So give me that all day, every day, over 48.5. Moving on to our next game.
Hey,
It's Sunday night. The Green Bay Packers, Dallas Cowboys. We got a homecoming for Micah Parsons and the Green Bay Packers. This game opened at 1.5-point underdogs for the Dallas Cowboys. Now bet all the way to 6.5, or you can get a 7-point favorite for the Green Bay Packers. Packers -7 at a couple of books. Over-under set to 48.5. James, you got on this one?
Oh, I bet this morning at 47. Yeah, I'm jumping the shark here a little bit, but 47 was out there this morning, and I put.
Let me see if we can
check the market.
We're gonna check the market. We're gonna check the stonks here.
Hold on.
I'm scrolling down. Where the hell did you bet this at 47.5, James?
47.
I'm seeing
47.
I'm seeing 48s across the board right now.
Wow.
According to Vegas Insider.
On Bovada, which is my preferred D-Gen gambling book. Bovada, 47 right now.
You're seeing that right now?
Right now.
Okay. I'll allow it.
So I'm going with over 47. Sorry to jump the shark here, but I really like, Dallas defense is surprisingly still rated in the top 10. You've got Green Bay also in the top 10 of offenses. Sure, Green Bay's got an amazing defense, but I think quite frankly, Green Bay's defense is going to be opportunistic in this matchup. I think Micah Parsons will be definitely coming off the edge and slapping the crap out of that ball. Dak Prescott more than likely going to have a fumble. I think there's going to be a lot of plus territory possessions for Green Bay. And then I just need the Cowboys to pick up a crazy touchdown, maybe 1, maybe 2, for that number to hit. So I like over 47. I don't think Green Bay lets off the gas at any point as well. I think they want to blow the crap out of the Cowboys. And I think there's a high chance that happens. So give me over 47. And, one last thing I'll throw in here. Nobody likes garbage time touchdowns more than the Dallas Cowboys. So you'll probably have this game at a 42-point near the end of the game. And somehow Dak decides to throw a 60-yard bomb to somebody on this team. I don't even know who they have left on this team after CeeDee Lamb's left. But I like the over.
All right. That's an over bet there for James. Of course, yeah, good point. CD Lamb going to be out for this one. Currently listed as doubtful. Everybody knows he ain't playing. He has a pretty serious high ankle sprain, it looked like. Now, high ankle sprains, he did come back in. He did come back in and tried to run on it. Did not go well. But I will say high ankle sprains, you're either out 0 weeks or you're out 3 weeks. You come back on that 4th week. So we'll see how it progresses through the rest of the week. If CD Lamb comes back in, that's an obvious free roll for you at 47. So you love seeing that. Cowboys. I'm just like looking at this spread. 1.5 all the way out to 7. How can I possibly bet against that line movement? And I found a way to do it, James. Cowboys. They're unlucky. There's an unlucky team. 31st in turnover differential, which this early in the season is greatly associated with luck and not skill. Packers ranked 11th in that statistic. Cowboys can't stop the pass, but they aren't horrendous against the run. They are 23rd in EPA per run on defense versus the Packers not being great running the football. 21st in EPA per run on offense. So I could see the Packers getting out to an early lead, passing the ball, and then kind of running this clock out. And like you said, we get a Dak attack late in the game, and they make it a 6-point game with a minute left, trying to kick the onside kick, and they're going to cover this 7-point spread. I do like the Cowboys at +7. And yeah, you might say Packers just got embarrassed.
Wow.
Packers just got embarrassed by the Browns. So they're going to come out firing. They're going to blow out these Cowboys. They're going to absolutely dominate. To that, I will say, the other team in this matchup also got embarrassed last week. The Dallas Cowboys got embarrassed by the Bears, who everyone thought sucked before that game. Maybe they do suck. My point is, what if the Cowboys also care about winning football, not just the Packers? We all know the Packers care. What if the Cowboys care? So for that reason, I'm going to take the Cowboys at +7. Mind-blowing. I know. A Cowboys team caring about winning games. All right. Moving on to our last game of the slate. We had short time today, and we got it in, so you're welcome for these winners.
You're welcome.
Make sure you like and subscribe and hit the bell so you can get these lines and know where to get them, like Povada.
I took a couple Tylenol last night so I could really focus in.
That's smart. That's smart. Good thing you're not expecting child. New York Jets versus the Miami Dolphins. This opened at the Dolphins at -5.5, got bet down to 2.5 or 3 favorites for the Miami Dolphins. The over-under set to 44.5 or 45.5. This is Monday night, a part of another Monday night doubleheader, except this time the late game does not start at like 11 p.m. Eastern time. It's a little bit more reasonable. I love the doubleheaders, James.
1 hour difference this time.
I love the doubleheaders, James. I love it. I love what they're doing here.
No, I don't.
There is a small chance of rain. And when I checked this morning before we recorded, it was even less of a chance. So I don't think we're going to get much precipitation in this one at all. Of course, check the weather if you're watching this late for whatever reason. If you're watching this on like Sunday afternoon, check the weather, because if there's weather in this game, Miami Dolphins become an automatic no bet. If you, spoiler alert, if you follow me on this one, okay? Fields should be back from the concussion, we think. And I think the line would indicate that is the case as well. James, what do you got on this one?
You know who loves the rain? Justin Fields. Just saying. Just saying. If there's anybody else who has got a better celebration gif in the NFL, it's got to be Justin Fields in the rain. So,
yep. On that terrible, who are they playing that game? That was an unwatchable game, but the gif at the end was well worth it, with Justin Fields sliding in the mud on his chest over there in Soldier Field, I believe, if I remember correctly. That was an unwatchable game.
Or was it Soldier Field? My simple notes for this one was, who stinks less?
Who does stink less?
My opinion is that the Jets stink less. And
oh no, James, you're flipping off of your Miami Dolphins after betting them through 3 weeks. Oh no.
Sorry, maybe.
Oh no.
That's not my problem. Not everybody's got a crystal ball. The Jets' best part of their offense is their passing game. And guess who has the second worst coverage rating in the NFL? The Miami.
Second worst.
The Miami.
Yeah, I believe that.
Give me the Jets. Jets plus 125. No home field advantage in Miami. This team is gone. Mike McCarthy, gone. Tua Tagovailoa, still a great guy.
Still a great guy. These teams are pretty similar, James. Like you said, who stinks less? The only real difference I could find, you got to run the ball, you got to stop the run. Guess what? Neither of these defenses can stop the run, but one of these teams can run the ball. EPA per rush, Dolphins 9th best in the NFL. Jets 29th ranked in EPA per run this season so far. The Jets did have a little bit of a tough schedule playing the Steelers, the Bills, and the Buccaneers, but the Dolphins kind of also have a little bit of a tough schedule as well, including a game against the Colts, which at the time were like, well, they're the Colts. You're losing to the Colts, and Colts are like the best offense in the league right now through 3 weeks. So maybe we'll bet on the Colts one day, James, a Colts game, a little bit of we'll write that down for week 5 or something.
Somebody on week 2 bet the Colts money line.
Oh, was that you? I forgot. I didn't even remember that. All right.
How soon you forget?
Anyways, Dolphins, hey, they're going to get a 1.5 home field advantage for this one. So to cover 2.5 and them being able to actually run the football and the Jets actually not being able to run the football. And that metric, by the way, it skews because it's per rush. So it's not like per rush per running back. It skews for mobile quarterbacks. So the Jets being that bad at that metric while having Justin Fields on the football team for, 1.5 games or whatever through 3 weeks, that's not good.
No,
that's not good at all. So give me the Dolphins at -2.5. Free roll if Justin Fields can't clear protocol and he's still got to get back to form. He's not going to be practicing basically all week because I don't think he's taken any steps through the protocol yet. So he's still got to have like his conditioning test, and then he's got to have like a partial whatever. And he's a non-contact guy, right? Because he's a quarterback. But even still, he's not going to be able to practice with the team, and I think that might hurt them as well. So give me the Dolphins at -2.5, James.
Wow.
How do you like that? So we did not agree on the Cowboys. We did not agree on the Dolphins.
Panthers and Chiefs are your options.
Panthers and what?
Panthers or Chiefs. Those are your 2 options of agreement.
No, I had the over in that game.
Oh, you had the over. Well, I guess then that makes
the Panthers at +5.5. Our best bet of the week. What could go wrong? We go 1-3 on our best bet, James.
We're going
guaranteed. We're going 1-3. We're going 1-3. We do have some of our loyal podcast followers who historically, despite me campaigning against it, despite my advice, have doubled their units for our best bet of the week.
This week, 10x it. 100.
Do not do that. Do not do that.
If you're betting $100, bet 10,000 this week.
1 unit. 1 unit. If you bet $10, bet $10 on that one.
10 units.
I'm still profitable on the season. Don't go all in. Don't do it.
All in.
It's the Panthers, for goodness sake.
Take your budget for this year. Back up the Brinks truck to your local gambling parlor and just dump it right on the table and say Panthers plus 195. Thank you very much. I'll be back here to collect my doubled money, essentially.
My name's Jamie Jakes for NFL Insider James. Make sure you shop your units. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you ring the bell so you can get these tasty picks as soon as we post them. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.